So I found this list online of the top 10 highest rated sci-fi movies, and we're gonna see how well does the internet know its sci-fi films. The Prestige. This may not be your typical sci-fi film in terms of there's no space travel or aliens, but it technically counts as science fiction. I personally think this should be higher on the list because The Prestige is in Nolan's top 3 films, and by the way, let me know if you want me to rank Nolan's films in the comments. But let's move on to number 9, Alien. I'm not mad at this movie being in the top 10. Personally, I don't know if I'd include it in my own, but any praise for Ridley Scott I am here for. Terminator 2. If you've watched my channel before, you know that I love this movie and hold it in high regards. James Cameron outdid his original film for the sequel with groundbreaking special and visual effects that still hold up today. This is the movie that made me love Arnold and is definitely one of Cameron's best. I think this is a fair spot on this list for this movie. Star Wars: A New Hope. Star Wars is one of the most popular films in general, and as for sci-fi in 1977, it is second only to Kubrick's 2001. George Lucas and his team not only created an intriguing story and universe, but also created a visual masterpiece for the time. With motion-controlled cameras and clever film techniques, they were able to remove blue screens with a moving camera, allowing them to create epic space sequences that the likes of were not seen before. The lightsaber effects, the matte paintings, all added to the world of Star Wars and propelled it to be the beginning of one of the biggest film franchises of all time. This definitely should be on the list, and maybe even deserves to be higher. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This is where recency bias comes into play for lists like these, and when a new film comes out, a lot of fans spam the ratings to be a 10 out of 10 and in return inflates its actual rating. Don't get me wrong, this is an amazing film both from a technical visual aspect as well as expanding the story for the inevitable trilogy, but I'm not sure if this deserves to be higher than A New Hope, for example. Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Possibly the most famous sequel of all time, The Empire Strikes Back does everything that the first film does, but better. Extend the universe, dive deeper into epic sequences that fans wanted to see in the first film. Everything you want in a Star Wars film is included in this movie and cements it as a timeless classic. I think number 5 is a fair spot on this list for it. The Matrix. Although partially ruined by its lesser sequels, the first Matrix as a standalone film is as great of a sci-fi movie as you're gonna get. I definitely would have this in my own top 5 as you get groundbreaking visuals and epic action sequences along with a compelling story in this movie. The whole idea of The Matrix is unique and interesting, and for 1999 this film looks fantastic. It actually didn't win my best movie of 1999 though, and if you want to check that video out, you could see it on my channel or in a link below the like button. Interstellar. In my opinion, Interstellar is the second best sci-fi movie of all time. It has the best visuals in any film with an incredibly unique space sequences and perfect CGI to go along with it. It's both an intense and emotional film. It's my favorite role by Matthew McConaughey and my favorite score from Hans Zimmer. I do believe Interstellar is Nolan's best film as there are no bad scenes in this movie. It's intriguing from start to finish and has a perfect ending, and if you haven't seen this movie, stop this video and watch it. Inception. Obviously, this being number 2 goes against everything I just said for Interstellar, but I'm not that mad at this choice for this list. While I do think Interstellar is the better movie, I still love Inception, and it's definitely one of Nolan's best. Although it might be tough to grasp at first, once you understand the movie, it's pretty simple and it's just a preparation for a heist that they complete in the third act of the film. It's incredibly unique, has another amazing score from Hans Zimmer, and has top-notch performances. Now before we get to number 1, I have to let you guys know that 2001: A Space Odyssey is not number 1. It's completely wrong, as 2001 is without a doubt the best sci-fi movie of all time and always will be. Watching the movie, you won't believe that it was made in 1968, 1 year before we went to the moon, and yes, we did go to the moon in 1969. And the number 1 highest rated sci-fi on this list currently is Dune Part 2. Obviously, the buzz around Dune 2 has some merit, and honestly, it's one of the best films I've seen at the theaters, but it's not the best sci-fi movie ever made. Don't get me wrong, it's visually one of the best films I've seen, with Denis and Greg Fraser at the head of that, coupled with an epic score from Hans Zimmer. Dune has truly earned its place as one of the best sci-fi films of all time, but just not number 1. Sorry, but this list kinda sucks. Thank you guys for watching. This video was a fun change of pace for me, reacting to an already existing list rather than making my own, but if you like these type of videos, consider subscribing to my channel, and you could click here to watch my previous video on the best sequels of all time.